We are really concerned that the shareholder might have a very difficult tax situation when the property gets a huge increase in commercial rental income that eliminates the maintenance. Let me give you some background on the situation. Properties that are in especially sought after rental retail districts are experiencing huge increases in commercial rent on their lease renewals. And since the commercial rents tend to reduce the maintenance to the shareholders, it's hard to see where this could be bad. One of the areas that is discussed in another video is the perceived profit from the store rental. Well, we're going to put that aside. But the concern here is that if we reduce the maintenance income and the IRS comes in and says that the shareholder had gotten a benefit for living in the apartment that they didn't have to pay, that's called imputing income, and it potentially would be taxable to the unit owners on an individual basis. You see, pass-through deductions are generally 50% of the maintenance charges for buildings that have no commercial space. So if we have a situation where the commercial rents wipe out the maintenance to what the shareholders should have had to pay, then we only get 50% of the amounts that we had deducted. So what happens to the shareholders when they pay, let's say, 10% of what they should have to pay? We're concerned that the IRS could say that they received a taxable benefit for not having to have to pay. You see, personal living costs are not a deductible expense, so there's no offsetting deduction should the IRS prevail in such a position. We really think that a lot of thought needs to go into the decision of how to communicate these situations to the shareholders for the buildings that are in this situation. Remember, you're a board member and you have a fiduciary responsibility to protect the corporation and its shareholders. And I want you to be concerned about the risks associated with utilizing any aggressive strategy that could lead to penalties if the IRS were to differ from the position that you end up taking. It's so important that only well-informed boards be available to make such substantial decisions.